Industry Insider is only available at Promo Corner, the leader in digital marketing for the promotional products industry. Each Monday, they discuss, dissect, and debate a single issue impacting the world of promotional marketing from every industry perspective. Now, it's time for Promo Corner's Industry Insider.
Welcome to another edition of the Industry Insider, your promotional products podcast, where you can get all the nerdy news you need to know about. My name is Jeff Franklin, National Accounts Manager with Headwear USA, and I'm joined today by three other lovely folks. But before we get to them, got to tell you, this awesome broadcast you're about to hear and witness is brought to you by our good friends over at TechWeld. USA made in a world filled with worry regarding overseas products. They offer many USA made products to help separate themselves from the promotional products pack. Look, it is award season, people. We are facing the end of the year. We've got all kinds of award shows and things like that popping up and creeping out everywhere. So they've got some awesome acrylic awards. You should definitely check them out. Custom acrylic pieces, awards, phone stands, keychains, etc. They've got stock and custom designs, and their acrylic line focuses on different kinds of items and makes the items basically produced at different sizes and great quality for the awards. It could be a great piece to promote incentive programs and promote professionalism at a reasonable cost. So go be sure to check them out for sure. And one of my favorite items that they do is actually their full color process lunch boxes. Those things are awesome, man. So whether it's a decal imprint or the full color imprint, TechWeld's full color capabilities on their lunch boxes definitely set themselves apart. So go check them out at www.techweld.com. That is TEKWELD.com, and let them know that Industry Insider sent you. Why don't we say hi to our friend Stephen McFadden, wearing a wonderful Sleep In for Good shirt that doesn't look like you just slept in it at all.
Well done.
I mean, what it would be unfitting if it was like just fresh out of the box. I had to make it like I slept in it. So
I know. Like, are we just doing like the Sleep In for Good like every Wednesday? Can we make that a thing?
They said they said for good. So I don't know how long that is.
It's a good point.
I thought that was permanent, but
hopefully not permanent. Sleeping in permanently.
I mean, that's what it sounds
else.
like. I just
However,
that's awesome.
You
I also have a Sunica hat, who's a local charity in our area as well. So I'm representing the charities.
Sweet. Meg
How are you,
Erber?
Jeff?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, Stephen. It is a rare treat to be asked how I'm doing. Meg Erber, how are you?
I'm doing good. I am actually wearing a shirt off my rack from back there. It is the Bella Canvas crop.
Meg, this is not promo hour with Meg Erber. All right.
Always selling ABC, baby.
Always selling. Always be
closing.
Or always be.
Yeah, Meg, you failed elementary because S is not after B, but it's okay. Scott Pearson, our special guest. How the hell are you doing today, sir?
Fantastic. I actually thought in our pre-discussion or this pre-podcast that we'd already gone through everything. I had so much fun, and now we're going to do it again. So this is great. I'm really stoked to be here with you guys.
Yeah,
Awesome.
this is going to be a good time for sure. But Scott, it is customary for us to give our special guest a good 3 to 4 minute introduction of who you are, how you got started in the promotional product space, and what the hell you've been up to since, man.
All right. Well, let's start at the beginning. I was born 7 pounds 9. No, I'm family, soccer, professional career, do more, don't settle for today, what you're going to do tomorrow. So it really is, my thing is just built on values, ethos, and kind of what's all important. So family of my wife, my 4 children, my 3 grandchildren. So that drives me every day. Soccer has been a massive part of my life forever, and I can never get enough. And US playing amazing right now, which is phenomenal. As far as the promotional industry, made my start after failing in the MLS in 1996, by the way, and losing my spot. So came back and found my way to, what's that?
I didn't even know that. What position did you
Well,
play?
it's not something I really talk about unless there's a massive public platform to boast about my failures, right? Anyway, but it drove me really to an introduction to Sweden in this industry and meeting some phenomenal leaders that really inspired me. I wasn't so much swayed by the selling of inexpensive plastic timepieces and floating sailboats in water and a travel alarm. I don't know how many people can remember those, but it was really the people that were leading the company that brought me in. And at first I was kind of, just kind of making my way and figuring things out and realizing that this is one of the best industries in the world. It's what America is based on. It allows us to build relationships, long-lasting relationships, and it's a perpetual growth. And I think that we, as individuals, as business owners, or working within great companies, it's our responsibility to kind of progress things beyond just what's going on today, which has kind of driven me to where I am now. And that is, we own a consumer retail brand, which was off to a running great start, took some punches during COVID. Some silver linings came out of that, where just the nature of relationships in this industry and the need to be able to source quick allowed us to develop a North American sourcing company at the same time. So we're running 2 businesses now. I grew from sales into national accounts, into marketing, and then product development and supply chain management. And that has given me a really nice broad perspective on the overall industry as a whole, from supply chain to end user to recipient of a gift, and how that plays through. And in that journey, I've found that there's a higher level of responsibility that I believe we have. I don't think we just settle. We don't just settle for a transaction, for an order. I think we have a responsibility to do more, especially as leaders. If we're going to choose to step up and go after it and lead, be a business owner, or through your own companies, we have a voice, and it's important to use that. And it doesn't mean that we're always going to get buy-in, but it certainly means that we do have a responsibility. And that's kind of what's led us to, I think, where we're going to get to, which is more discussion about becoming a benefit corporation, being a revenue generated business. For sure, I am all about making money the right way. I'm all about the growth of a business and the people within the business. I'm about the transparency, about the supply chain management, about making sure that as we understand the baseline of where our factories are and where we're, sourcing, that we're able to help them on a journey of improvement and growth, whether it's through social accountability, whether it's through material safety, quality assurance, supply chain security, whatever it might be. And that goes all the way through our teams. We must have transparency. And I truly believe that we can run a revenue-driven business with a social purpose and have strong environmental stewardship along the way. And that comes down to our product development and the materials we choice and the products that we bring in that we recommend for presentations. Doesn't mean we're always going to get buy-in, but it certainly is an initiative and a priority first. So I know I kind of bounced there. I hope that's okay.
No, Scott, I think you're hired, man.
I failed in the MLS. That's probably the only thing.
No, I think you're going to be hired for the podcast permanently. You gave us a perfect segue into the topic for today, and that's competitive advantages from having a bigger social purpose. So why don't you elaborate on that a little bit, as far as like what a B Corp is, and what that means to you.
Yeah, wow. I think as we're growing up and the values that are instilled in us, and then we have things we have to do in life, and then we have things that are kind of the core of our soul we still believe in. And, I come from a family of teachers and librarians and people who certainly were about education and about growth and about looking out for one another, all the way from my grandparents from Greece. I mean, these are some of the values that we had. And it's interesting growing through, school and then young adult and then becoming a professional. You carry that with you, and you then try to figure out how you navigate some of those things that are important to you as you're trying to be a good example for those around you professionally, personally, your children, and what example are you setting? And I think that there's a lot of responsibility to that, but there's a lot of natural natural ability to do it. And so that's where in business, I would make a lot of annual presentations about strategy for the coming year. And it would, there'd be some definite elements in there about either, sustainability, environmental stewardship. And it was always kind of nice, people really liked that, the team liked that, but it was more about like, hey, let's focus on EBITDA and top line sales, right? And nothing wrong with that at all. But this opportunity in the last 4 years has given us an opportunity to step away and build some of the foundational values and ethos that we truly believe in. And that is, we can run a business with a social purpose, environmental stewardship. So here comes then, as we're getting ready to build this business, is the B-Lab handbook, that was passed on to me. And it's an easy read, and it's just every, in each chapter, everything you're going through just starts to connect the points, and it gives you really the format of how to build a business where you can be a revenue-driven business, but also be thinking about all the other things that you can do at the same time to benefit others. I think there's a responsibility not to just take resources or take revenue, but if you're going to acquire that, then what else are you doing? For example, when we started, we knew that we needed to have a strong social purpose driven. And so we looked at things domestically, we looked at things internationally. Obviously, we're sourcing internationally, so that was an easy pull. And we developed a relationship with planetwater.org. And one of the things that we believed in is that if we're pulling resources out of a community, we want to put resources back into a community. And so where are we manufacturing? It's mostly Southeast Asia. So we're in China, Vietnam. And so a lot of the clean water towers that we already had donated and done with Planet Water was in Lombok, Indonesia, because there was some devastating typhoons and tsunamis that wiped out the island. And so we were called on early to do that. So we did it. And then we did Cambodia, we've done India, we did Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. And that was absolutely part of the goal was to continue on that venture. I mean, these things are absolutely producing 1,000 liters of clean water a day. They're sustainable. Anyways, and so we ended up finally doing one in Vietnam, which is where we were manufacturing. And so as we're doing one in Vietnam, we actually were able to get our Vietnam factory owner, who is Korean, and their general manager came with us 5 hours outside of Ho Chi Minh City, and they helped us build a clean water tower. So it just kind of showed like how we're all revenue driven, but we did some really good work there and continue to do so. So gosh, you guys are so distracting. This is great. I love it.
I mean,
You can't see. That's why he's doing it. We're just
honestly, Meg, I think you have your hype video.
I know. There we go.
I wear my sunglasses at night or something.
Well, I think it's pretty incredible. So when I first met you, and something that we didn't mention is you just recently joined the Promo Cares board, and what a huge, we lucked out with Scott Pearson. I feel like I jumped into a meeting with him the other day, and him and Danny Rosen, and I was just blown away. I'm like, let me see if I can take all the notes, because I feel like these two people, there are people that you want to follow, right? Like there's the Denise Taschereau from Fairwear. There's Roger Burnett from Social Good Promotions, Danny Rosen, Scott Pearson. You guys are doing the things to change the way the world looks at our industry, because the reputation that we've had is, oh, you don't want to sell that stuff. That's tchotchkes. That's stuff that's going to end up in the landfill. But you're teaching people, you're educating, because you're schooling me every single day, and I'm learning so much. I absolutely love it. I'm so excited to be able to take all this BCorp stuff that you're sending me to apply it. And anyway, I was getting off topic, but you've done a really good job of making sure that your bottom dollar isn't the profit. The bottom dollar, or the bottom line, is the social good that's coming from this. And I think, Stephen, you even did something a couple years ago, was it, on a panel or something? I did a session in Expo East,
basically talking about philanthropic projects, and it was basically talking about how it's more of a retention play. So a lot of people wonder, why do I do this? And some people who are very bottom line driven, this was the explanation to why you do that. I mean, obviously there's a you want to do good aspect of it, and you want to give back component, but some people are just bottom line driven. And so I was trying to provide some data and some examples of, here's what we've done. If you need a reason that's very financially motivated, that shows how philanthropic projects and giving back is actually a retention play. It helps your customers be stickier. It helps you be a valuable resource for them. We've even used several of our customers who are big companies. They didn't have their own charity programs put in place. So I was like, well, I've done this before. Let me help you start one. So we helped them create a thing, and we came in and donated a product towards it to help the initiative, and led a session internally to say, hey, here's what you do. Here's how you go about it. I haven't been there in years, and they're off and running doing their own thing. But I'm like, that was great. Like, but they'll call us for anything. You know, it's very much that relationship building tool, which our industry is founded on, is relationships. So
completely agree. We even with our Xact brand, we had right before COVID, really like March, the first week of March 2020, before everything really was shutting down, we were in American Airlines corporate headquarters in Dallas, and we were presenting to the procurement team, marketing team, and simply with our B Corp status, with our every product, materials, everything is chosen from a recycled-based type material, a sustainable type material, that those choices being brought into the fold, and we're talking to a different generation from my generation in terms of buyers, right? And it connected with them immediately. And so whether it's a longstanding, like you said, a retention relationship, Stephen, or even just like meeting the right buyers that have the same value systems, you see it immediately. You see just the light kind of go on, and there's this connection that you didn't even necessarily think might be there, but it is. And then they see that they have a better understanding of who you are from an ethos and a value standpoint, which a lot of times when you're initially presenting or meeting somebody, they don't know who you are yet. They don't know what you're all about. And when you have something like a B Corp certification, or you have some proof in your social purpose work, there is something that comes along with that absolutely is a reciprocal benefit to your revenue and to everything else that can come from it. So I completely agree with you.
Hey, Scott, from a distributor's perspective, is there such thing as a B Corp distributor? Because my assumption has always been, because we buy from suppliers that source all over the place, and we can't control all aspects of the supply chain of where we purchase. I don't know, like, is that a thing? Is that something that we should educate ourselves on?
Somebody, a competitor of yours, say that's a B Corp, correct?
No, I mean, like, how would Perfect Promotions be a B Corp, or is that not a thing? Because it would be the suppliers that would be the B Corps.
No, it's okay. All the way through. So I mean, you have Jimmy McCabe up in Canada, who we had talked in, my goodness, 2019, and it inspired him to become a B Corp. Denise at Fairwear, right? I mean, so there's a number of different B Corp distributors. And the nice thing, Stephen, is about B Corp is that there's different assessment categories, and it plays to your strength. You may not be great at being able to, go do a ton of social purpose work, but you're strong in the environmental impact and the warehousing and the transparency to your employees and the educational investments in them. And so it plays to your strengths of what you do, and it focuses on you, what you're good at, not what you're not good at, right? And so it encourages you to build. And then through the B Corp community, you can learn and educate about the other things that may be changes in your business that could be coming. So yes, absolutely, because you have banks, financial businesses, you have every industry you can think of around the world. There's over 4,000 B Corps. And when we started our journey into becoming a B Corp, there was under 3,000, and that's just 3 short years ago. So, and with Patagonia, Clean Canteen, and you've got so many, Ben & Jerry's, you've got so many great brands, Allbirds, right? You got so many great brands that are on this. It's a growing community. And I'll tell you, the biggest thing for me that got me to make a jump into taking at 50 years old, the risk of starting a business from ground up was, I'm telling you, if I heard one more time, but Scott, this is how we've always done it, and it's always worked, right? And I get it. I totally get it. There's a security to that, and I get it. But I feel as though if I'm living that as my value, then I'm dying, right? Like, I've got to continue to progress and continue to take this as far as we can as a business, as the social work we do, and the environmental decisions we make, it's all important. We have to grow that and continue to educate. So
I'm personally really glad that we're going down this road. I don't know, Meg, is that coming from you or somewhere else? I don't know.
I don't know
But
either.
anyhow, I'm really glad that we're going down this avenue because, quite frankly, I think a lot of people hear, or social good or whatever, and they think it's all automatically philanthropy, and they think that the only thing to do with philanthropy is giving money back necessarily, and it doesn't have to always affect the bottom dollar. There's a lot of different things that you can do that we've hit on. It's social or supply sourcing responsibility.
Correct.
Sourcing responsibly. There we go. There's the material that you're using, environmental impacts, how your hiring process is. There's all kinds of different things that go into that. So I'm really glad that we're hitting on this because I think
Also,
wake that up.
Sorry, I thought you were ending. This all kind of ties into what we talked to you last week about the VeChain and how this can be literally perfect. I know, Scott, are you doing anything with the VeChain on the blockchain yet? Because this is literally perfect for this. When you're doing responsible sourcing and you can now prove where this product comes from inception to delivery, it's just hand in hand. I mean, they're laughing, but we just had a whole podcast on crypto and NFT.
50-minute podcast last week. That wasn't enough for Meg Erber, apparently.
It's not. It's because I'm always seeing opportunities where I feel like this would tie in perfectly. Anyway, we could talk later about that. But
so you're talking more about like just total supply chain traceability throughout. Yeah, no, that fortunately, I was very fortunate to be given an opportunity to develop the education and experience in supply chain and how it works, right? Because you do have sometimes a trading company, sometimes it's the actual factory, and then the factory has sub-vendors, and then you've got raw material suppliers, and it starts to fracture, right? And I think we learned early on when QCA was actually a thing, and we were developing QCA, was really going deep into the supply chain and not just relying upon even just information coming to you from email, but it's getting there and walking the walk. So like when we developed our line with Xactly, it's like first nature is, okay, you define the factory itself, and then you define sub-vendors, and then you just define like the material suppliers as well. And so we're in Korea visiting the material suppliers, but in actuality, it's being sewn in Vietnam. And then you have different components coming from different sub-vendors that we also have to check. And so there's a responsibility to it, and it's worthwhile because there's a guarantee that comes back to the end buyer, the consumer end buyer, whichever, but it's, and then being transparent about it because you're using the right supply chain. And honestly, when you just simply plan that way and execute that way, then it's easy, then you share. And so there's nothing to hide. There's no curtain to be, you just pull it all. It just makes good sense, Yeah. And I think that there's a value and appreciation then from an end buyer and all those around. And I think that's how we walk.
Awesome. Meg?
it's not me because my thing was on mute. So it's one of y'all.
Sounds fine to me.
I don't know. Yeah, I just thought that would be, when you're talking about everything, is there a way to verify that though? Like that's where I'm coming in with the VeChain aspect of it. Like every step of the way is verified through, these tags or these scans, these things that are built in, these smart contracts that are built in. It just all ties it in. That's all. I'm just adding.
I think that's what he was saying because there's so many different ways. There's so many different places that these things are coming from when you're talking about creating something from scratch. I mean, you talk about a hat. I mean, there's 63 different processes basically somewhere around there that's happening. So I mean, you're talking about where the material's coming from, where the button's coming from, where the plastic in the peak is coming from. Maybe it's a different type of decoration, a patch or something, where that's coming from. Then it's all got to come together. And so I think what Scott said is that it becomes sort of fragmented because you have to be able to trace all of that. So I mean that's why we're not there yet, because, and honestly, with how many different pieces and places are in play, I think it's going to become very expensive.
Yeah, it is, and we've been going through that the last almost 2 years now. Like I was saying, from COVID, we started a North American sourcing business called 6 a.m. Sourcing, who is also a pending BCorp now, just is because it's our model, it's what we do. But we've been sourcing in Mexico, and there's a lot of differences from sourcing in Asia. So Asia, we're very comfortable. We know we're good, what to expect, and what the return is going to be. And now we're down in Mexico doing the same thing, and it's set up very differently. Mexico's not set up as vertical as Southeast Asia, or a lot of the factories are. So we're really having to dig into sub vendors and navigate our way through different regions and then vet the supply chain. And it takes time. It doesn't just happen overnight. And so but we're 2 years into it, and we've got some very, very strong partners. We've got some partners in Monterrey, Mexico, that actually have their CTPAT. It's for coming across the border. And so it's a fascinating process going through the supply chain, and it can be painstaking. But if you know the disciplines, if you know kind of the rules and kind of what you need to do, you can create guarantees to your customer that things are there. Now, to your point, Meg, like, where can you find that? Is there traceability on like some sort of a platform that's universally, where people can access it? Not that we're using anything like that, but we disclose anything and everything. I mean, we're doing Disney business, right? So Disney business alone is, you've got to have your FAMAs, you've got to have testing, you've got to have everything, you've got, so we're very accustomed to it and very open to sharing anything. And that honestly is just simply the way it should be.
Yep.
So what are some competitive advantages that you would say that you've maybe had, or you could expect or experience from living a more socially purposed life with business?
I think that we're given some different positioning opportunities as it relates to big, Fortune 100, 500, 1,000 companies that have large other corporate social responsibility programs, social purpose programs, and they are looking to align themselves with a supply chain that is following suit in some of the same values that they do. And even though we may be a notch or two down in that process, it's still important and still creates positioning for us. Also, some of the things, I think, Stephen, we were talking a little bit about this earlier, but we have in presentations done a value add to where if you're selecting an Xactly product for this event or this purpose or this need, here is transparently the dollars that are going to be going directly to the Next Planet Tower build, the clean water tower build. And if you want to, we can even lower the cost and then take that cost from you and include your investment as well into a Planet Water build. And if you want to go next level and create incentives for a sales team, a management team to be able to participate as a volunteer, so our next one's going to be in Aguascalientes, Mexico, because we're pulling resources out of Mexico, so that's where our next tower is. So you can create these other additional benefits to just not simply getting a backpack, right? So you get a cool backpack with recycled material, it's all good. But you have this ability now to bring in a little bit more value add and get them involved, right? And it's kind of like that retention thing that you were talking about, Stephen, where you get people involved in this, one way or another. Like our Xactly line's exclusively been distributed by HIT, and so Nathan Cotter, their VP of compliance, actually joined us in Vietnam with the factory owner. And we went down together 5 hours outside of Ho Chi Minh and did a build, right? And so that camaraderie is just, I don't know how you just get that, I mean, that's not just a night out in Vegas after a PPI show. This is something very different, and I think for those that value the same things, you get like-minded people together, that investment just goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. Stephen, any questions from you or anything that you would?
No, I think it's inspiring to see what you can do. I think there's some next steps or some call to actions that are kind of put out there as well. I think it'd be helpful to know, if you can't go all the way to the BCorp, dive in, at least take a look at what's in there. I mean, I'm curious to know, it's like, are there little things that you can do to improve certain aspects of the supply chain in your own business, your own office? And I think it's smart. I think it's probably the right thing to do. And it seems like that the way you described it, Scott, that there's probably some pretty easy switches and easy fixes to kind of get moving in the right direction. So I think it's nice to hear all that. So
Scott, for somebody that's maybe not necessarily playing in that world yet, where would you recommend somebody starting or to get more information?
Let me send you a B-Lab handbook. When we first started, when I completed my first read of that, which was pretty quick, I went out and bought, I think, 20 some copies of it, and I started handing it out to our factories, to our customers, to our design agencies, anybody we were involved with, because, you know, I just believe so much in it. And if somebody took a little something from it, I think that's great. I mean, listen, you right now, you know, you look at a lot of the big box suppliers in this industry, and there's a lot of really good work going on. I mean, just so proud of so many, you know, owners and leaders of those companies doing some really, really good work. I think there's more to be done. I think we're still an industry that's bringing a lot of, from a hard goods standpoint, we're bringing a lot of plastics, a lot of things that we know where they're landing. And that's not going to go away. That's not going to end. But I think there's some offset things that could be done to help offset some of the impact. And there's a lot of things that can still be done there. But that's for a lot of like-minded people to get together and talk about.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Meg, any questions?
I was going to ask the same thing that you did. I was going to say, where can we start? I know Scott and I had a meeting, or we were talking about it in Raleigh, and I was like, where can we start? I want to, you know, everything that I see, we're already doing, but what are we missing? And he was like, X, Y, Z. So I think Scott was just such a great resource. I think he's going to be a great resource for the next steps in Promo Cares. We are just so excited to have him on board. If there is a link that we can maybe drop into this discussion on that, Scott, or maybe a place that we can kind of link people to, so our listeners can look along, we'll do that. Maybe you could send it to me and we'll do that. But otherwise, no, I'm really excited about the innovators and the people that we have like you in this industry that are forward thinking and really concerned about where we end up as an industry, you know, and where the products that we give our customers, and then the relationships because of those products and practices. So it's all good stuff. Yeah.
And I would just, one thing I'd just like to add is that it can be overwhelming as far as a starting point and understanding what that is. And I think that simply just a little bit of light education, looking at a basic assessment on the BCorp website. And I keep referencing BCorp because it's such a great structure and foundation to pull from, and see where your strengths are. Just play to your strengths. Don't try to be something you're not. That's not healthy or good for anyone. Play to your strengths and then build on that. Just build on it. That's all, you know, but love it.
Awesome. Do either of you have any other questions or closing remarks?
No, that's it. I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on, Scott.
No, I'm hey, 'tis the time of the year, and happy Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for all of you guys for giving us this platform to discuss it. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Should we do a quick rapid fire?
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard this is where the wheels come off, though.
Well, since we're talking about things,
strongest editing is done.
maybe only when it, you know, maybe it'll put you in jail, you know. So I'll start rapid fire off. All right. So with Thanksgiving being tomorrow, what is your favorite Thanksgiving item on the menu?
Yes.
Yes.
For me?
All of you.
Oh, man. I gotta go straight to dessert, to be honest. I'm sorry, but you give me a slice of my wife's homemade pecan pie, done right there.
What about you, Steven?
I mean, it's hard to choose one item because like you kind of take a bite with things together. You know,
I don't eat
the
touches. You don't keep your food apart.
I don't eat the gravy by itself. You know what I mean? Like it's on the potatoes. So I'm a good turkey. If I
haven't had my gravy, then just saying.
Yeah, I don't get a straw with it. I put it on my mashed potatoes.
So you're not drinking it straight out of the gravy boat?
No.
Oh man. Yeah, for me, honestly, like I say yes, just because I love Thanksgiving dinner. It's like, you know, you do it once or maybe twice a year if your Christmas dinner is similar to your Thanksgiving dinner, but I don't know, just something that's a little bit more unique, I guess, to Thanksgiving as opposed to Christmas would be pumpkin pie. So I'll stick with Scott and I'll go with dessert and I'll say pumpkin pie with lots of whipped cream.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
absolutely.
Pumpkin pie is to me the least favorite of all the pies. Just gonna put that out there. But I would have to say,
well, this is why you're weird.
Well, duh. But my gravy with or without the straw. Just gonna put that out there. My gravy is fabulous.
Nice.
From scratch. Moving on.
Very, very humble.
We need to
Eggs
get
gravy
together and have
brings
a
all the
Friendsgiving.
boys to the yard.
Do you know? Yeah, it does. All right. So next.
I'll go next because I didn't know it until you asked that question. I'm curious to know what do you guys drink during Thanksgiving?
Alcohol.
Wine.
Yo, that's what I'm asking. Like, I never really thought about this, but I don't.
Like
I
an
just
apple
always drink
cider?
water. Do you guys? What do you drink
Water.
for Halloween? Is
I mean, I
all?
drink
Okay.
water for everything, but if we're gonna do something festival, I'll make like a hot apple cider, or there's usually everyone usually brings wine. So
Yeah, no, I'm
Interesting.
give me a deep red right out of the gate for sure.
Wine. Okay.
That's probably after I've had a couple of Topo Chico hard seltzers. Then I've got my red cab, probably wrap it up with a little Maker's Manhattan and probably drop an edible after that. I don't know. I'm just saying. Sorry. That's how you do. I mean, right?
You got a
I mean,
plan,
after
man. That's
that day,
awesome.
and all the people and all the kids and everything. And I'm probably the one that did 50 people's worth of dishes. I need to bring it down a notch.
you deserve it.
Yeah.
That was fantastic, Jeff.
That's awesome.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you know what? My alcohol preferences are changing a lot over the last year or two. Well, I won't say a lot, but like I used to be really big into like, crafts beers and stuff like that. I'm now if I drink like 2 craft beers, I'll get like massive headaches and whatever. But I'm not like celiac or whatever. Like I don't have any type of gluten. I don't know what it is, but anyhow, so I'm kind of like getting away from beer more and going into the obviously like Bullet and Coke is like a go-to for me, something like that, or an old fashioned.
Nice.
But wine honestly it sounds like a really great spot. So I might actually go with Scott again and just do wine. Red wine.
Just cleanses the palate after everybody.
Just a nice peppery oaky cab sauv.
Yes.
That's what I'll.
Or a Fumé Blanc. Right.
There we go.
Jeff, what you got for us?
Oh Lord. Well, I was gonna go the Thanksgiving dinner route as well, but I guess I'm gonna have to come up with something else. I don't know. Scott, do you have a question for us?
I do. What are you guys going to do on Friday, the day after? What does that look like?
So
Meg's gonna mail out Christmas cards.
maybe. We usually put up the Christmas tree like the day after Thanksgiving. I took off Wednesday, so I have off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm excited. I don't usually do that, so I'm gonna get crazy. Like I'm gonna sleep in, maybe have some wine at breakfast or lunch. Probably not.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, Black Friday is definitely that's a day to spend at home. Used to be out doing stupid stuff, shopping and things like that. But now Black Friday deals you're getting weeks in advance and that sort of stuff. So there's no reason to really do that anymore. Unless it's like a doorbuster or something. But typically we'll put up the tree and decorate and just spend a day with the family.
Nice.
I like Black Friday shopping.
He's still young. He's still young.
I mean, so I remember when I used to have to wait outside before it would open, and then I had it mapped out. Like if I go,
well, see
at 3 a.m.
That's what happened. You used to have to camp out at 3 a.m. or midnight or 5 a.m. or whatever it was, right? And then it just kept progressively getting longer and longer and longer. And now you got to wait out
24 hours.
at like Thanksgiving morning. So you're basically losing Thanksgiving if you want a Black Friday shop.
Oh yeah, I don't do anything on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I remember when you used to have a plan like this store at 3 a.m., this store then opens at 4, and then this one opens at 5. That was fun.
So when you do that, are you shopping for yourself or is it holiday shopping?
No, I never shop for myself. And honestly, I don't really buy a whole lot of stuff. I'll tell you, this is my 10-second funny story. I was waiting in line at a Target. This was like years and years ago. And people were like talking about what they were getting, and they were like, hand out the coupons for the doorbusters, and they were like, "What are you here for?" I'm like, "I need a gallon of milk." and people were like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I just ran out of milk. I knew this place would be open at 3 a.m., so I just thought I'd come over."
Do you guys buy your holiday gifts before the 23rd of December?
I started.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm playing golf on Friday, so I've got
Nice.
I've got a charity golf thing I do most every year, the day after Thanksgiving. So
That's cool.
yeah.
Very cool.
Jeff, you got like 30 seconds. Go.
All right. Favorite holiday movie?
Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
Christmas Vacation.
The You'll Shoot Your Eye Out movie, I think. Christmas
Story.
Christmas
Story.
Story.
Yeah. Jeff?
Christmas Vacation is the that's the tradition. Like if you're not watching Christmas Vacation like 100 times during the holidays, something's wrong with you.
Give me Randy Quaid with a dickie and a V-neck sweater and some white patent leather shoes, and I'm happy.
So my neighbors, I don't know if you saw it on the news. I think we talked about it last year. My neighbors are the ones that do that really big, do the whole Christmas Vacation setup with Randy. They have the guy hanging off the roof, Chevy Chase. Like they go crazy. Neighbors.
That's incredible.
Hate it. But
Wait, they put mannequins out there dressed?
They go all out.
Wow, that's cool though.
All out. It's literally like everything. And it's like all the proceeds go, they like ask people to bring presents for Toys for Tots. And it was so big, it's the third year in a row. They're actually not going to do it in the neighborhood this year because all their neighbors complain. They like bought a field. It's going to be insane, but they do so much good. They do so much good. And
That's
it's
awesome.
It's neat.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, guys, if you enjoyed the podcast, it was brought to you today by our good friends over at TechWeld, USA made in a world filled with worry regarding overseas products. They offer many USA made products to help separate themselves from the promotional products pack. And as you saw, we were all being very classy wearing our sunglasses earlier on. Thank you, son. Really appreciate it. But look, TechWeld, our good friends, they've got some incredible sunglasses. They actually won the 2019 Distributor Choice Awards in the sunglass category. And they've got a lot of SKUs that are FDA approved and offer UVA and UVB protection. And, hey, since we talked about, maybe dropping an edible, they've got a lot of cannabis products as well. They've recently launched a cannabis line and a lot of great products over there. So if that's something that you're into, go check that out as well at techweld.com, TEKWELD.com. You won't be sorry that you did. Tell them that the Industry Insider sent you. And we'll wrap it up. Thank you guys very much, Scott. It was awesome having you on, man, and appreciate everything you're doing to live a socially purposeful life.
Yeah, I love you guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Scott.
All right, take care, guys. Tune in next week, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Promo Corner's Industry Insider. For more great content from industry thought leaders, including podcasts, blogs, and videos, visit promocorner.com.